Political ideologies are not merely partisan labels or campaign slogans. They are structured traditions of thought that offer competing answers to fundamental political questions. What is the nature of human freedom? What is the proper role of government? How should power, wealth, and responsibility be distributed in society? In the modern era, three ideologies have been especially influential in shaping political institutions, public policy, and political conflict: liberalism, conservatism, and socialism. Each emerged in response to the social transformations produced by capitalism, industrialization, and the decline of feudal and religious authority. Liberalism. Liberalism is the foundational ideology of modern constitutional democracy. At its core, liberalism begins with the moral priority of the individual. It holds that individuals possess inherent rights, and that political authority is legitimate only insofar as it protects those rights. The intellectual roots of liberalism are often traced to thinkers such as John Locke, who argued that individuals possess natural rights to life, liberty, and property prior to the existence of government. Government, in this view, is not a master but a trustee, created by consent and limited in scope. Political power must therefore be constrained through constitutions, the rule of law, and separation of powers. Economically, liberalism has been closely associated with capitalism, particularly through the work of Adam Smith, who argued that free markets, voluntary exchange, and private property foster prosperity and individual freedom. The liberal defense of markets rests on the belief that economic freedom is inseparable from political liberty. Over time, liberalism diversified into distinct strands. Classical liberalism emphasizes limited government, strong property rights, and minimal state intervention. Modern or social liberalism, associated with thinkers such as John Rawls, accepts a larger role for the state in addressing inequality, arguing that political freedom is hollow if citizens lack the basic resources needed to exercise it meaningfully. Despite their differences, all liberal traditions share a commitment to constitutionalism, individual rights, and legal equality. Conservatism. Conservatism emerged not as a blueprint for a new society, but as a critique of radical social change. It is best understood as an ideology of continuity, tradition, and skepticism toward abstract reason. Conservatives tend to emphasize the accumulated wisdom embedded in social institutions, such as family, religion, and custom. A foundational conservative figure is Edmund Burke, whose response to the French Revolution warned against attempts to reconstruct society according to purely rational or theoretical principles. Burke argued that societies are complex, organic, and historically rooted, and that sudden, sweeping reforms often destroy stabilizing institutions faster than they can replace them. Conservatism prioritizes order, authority, and social cohesion. While it does not reject liberty, it tends to view freedom as something cultivated within moral and institutional boundaries rather than as unrestricted individual autonomy. For this reason, conservatives often emphasize duty, hierarchy, and responsibility alongside rights. Conservatism itself takes different forms. Anglo-American conservatism often blends respect for tradition with support for markets and constitutional government. Continental European conservatism has historically been more authoritarian, emphasizing hierarchy and centralized authority. In the 20th century, conservative thought also split between paternalist conservatism, which supports limited welfare measures to preserve social stability, and market-oriented conservatism, which aligns more closely with classical liberal economics. Socialism. Socialism begins from a fundamentally different premise, that social and economic inequality is not merely unfortunate, but structurally unjust. Rather than prioritizing individual property rights, socialism emphasizes collective ownership, social equality, and economic justice. The most influential socialist theorist is Karl Marx, who argued that capitalism systematically exploits labor by allowing those who own the means of production to extract surplus value from workers. In Marx's view, political institutions under liberal capitalism serve to protect class dominance rather than genuine freedom. Socialism critiques liberalism on the grounds that formal legal equality masks deep material inequality. The ability to vote or speak freely, socialists argue, means little if individuals lack access to housing, healthcare, education, or dignified work. As a result, socialism typically calls for public or collective control over key economic sectors and for redistribution to ensure substantive, not merely formal, equality. Socialism is not monolithic. Democratic socialism seeks to achieve socialist goals through democratic institutions and mixed economies, while revolutionary socialism historically pursued systemic change through class struggle and state control. In practice, socialist ideas have profoundly shaped modern welfare states, labor rights, and public services, even in countries that remain formally capitalist. comparative perspective taken together, these ideologies reflect enduring tensions in political life. Liberalism prioritizes individual liberty and limited government. Conservatism emphasizes tradition, stability, and social order. Socialism focuses on equality, collective responsibility, and economic justice. Modern political systems rarely embody any one ideology in pure form. Instead, democratic states continually negotiate among these traditions, blending liberal rights, conservative institutions, and socialist-inspired social policies. Understanding these ideologies is therefore essential not only for interpreting political theory, but for analyzing real-world political debates over markets, welfare, authority, and freedom.